So I took a part-time job as a hospice chaplain. And when I would tell my friends I was doing that, they would go, that sounds awful. And I found that reaction kind of funny coming from therapists, but understandable too, because it's like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine doing that. It was so rewarding. One of my favorite work experiences of my life. The things that I was taught to do in family therapy, that worked well were like supercharged
Mm,
in that environment because people don't have self-defense priorities when you're at
mm,
end of life.
mm.
And so, they just need a little help getting unstuck. And so I saw like incredible reconciliation happen. So thankful to have seen that. But go back, this is about cultural competency. So, we're in Texas. There's lots of Hispanic people from different origins, different national origins. But one of the things I was told when I first started was, hey, a lot of the families around here who are Hispanic, they have this belief that if when their mother family member dies, their spirit leaves their body and it floats around the house and you have to open a window. And if you don't open a window, that's when you end up with, houses getting haunted because the spirit couldn't escape. It gets stuck in the house and it haunts the place. And so, among a lot of those families, a way to honor their loved one is to open the pathway for them to ascend to heaven and be with God, and by opening that window. And so I'm like, okay, this is a cultural accommodation thing I need to be aware of. And I did see some families who were really, who were really appreciative of that because you would just kind of, you show up to a patient death and you would be doing some comfort and interventions and trying to get them a healthy kickstart on grief process. And that's when you would plug in some of that cultural accommodation. Well, I remember showing up to this apartment for a patient death one time, and I asked the family, it's a little time had passed and we had kind of done the initial stuff to check on them and care for them. And then I went and asked the primary caregiver, of which I think was a daughter, hey, do we need to open a window? And she's like, open a window? Are you hot? What? Like, no, okay, no. It doesn't sound like that's something that needs to happen. I was just asking, and I had to explain myself. Like, I was just asking because, a lot of people who are Hispanic origin families that we've worked with have this belief. And she was like, no, not at all. She was like very kind of modern Protestant in her faith.
Mm.